All right, so we are recording. Okay, so we'll get going here tonight. Like I said, we are recording this. We'll put this up to the wrestling website. Thank you all for making it out tonight. We're going to try and get through things as quickly as we can, but also to give due diligence and answer the most common questions we're going to have. We're in a very different year, obviously, this year. The key to being successful this year is going to be patience and perseverance. From the athlete's point of view, controlling the things that you can control is going to be very important. So now I'm going to stop sharing and add a couple more people. There we go. Let's share again. And then Dan, you kind of help me out. Are we seeing the PowerPoint again?
Got it.
All right. So again, control the things you can control and do the best you can and not worry about the things you can't control, because that's going to burn a ton of energy.
All right, so we'll kind of go back and forth on the slides, and just want to introduce myself. Some of you may not know me. I know that we have some younger groups on today. I'm Dan Bucher. I've been coaching at Litchfield now for my 13th year. I've been teaching there the whole time as well. I teach math at the high school. I have a wife and 3 kids that are full of energy. So I also got back into coaching 8th grade football this year. And I look forward to a successful season, even though we have the challenges in front of us. Coach Clem, you want to introduce yourself again?
Yep, I'm Brian Clem. This will be year 26 for me, coaching wrestling at Dassel-Cokato and now Dassel-Cokato Litchfield. I've been involved in the football program at different levels. Married with 13-year-old twins in the 8th grade, and one of them is wrestling and one of them is a manager for us. So again, same with Coach Dan. I mean, we're excited about the opportunity we are going to have this year. It's going to be a little different, but we're excited for our chance to get back on the mat and do it as safely as we can.
All right, so just kind of going in order here, I probably will read right from it and try to expand on each one. What we're covering today, big picture, purpose, our coaching staff, preseason information, probably one of the most important slides to get done prior to the start of the season. We'll go through our schedule so far. It might have some few additions on it yet. We'll go through our practice schedule and other relevant information. Similar to last year, our goal doesn't change. We want to be competitive on the varsity dual side. This year it's a little different. There's no individual tournaments, so we will have about 30, high 20s to 30 duels this year. The 7th through 9th grade dual team, we have to still figure out what that will look like. We don't know yet if there's a 9th grade state as well. So those are some of the things that we'll hopefully have an answer soon, but at the moment we don't. And then the individual, we don't know yet if there's going to be an individual tournament at the end of the year as far as state tournament, section tournament. Building on last year, we had a group of guys that for a first year together, they bonded very well. I don't know you, Coach Clem, but a lot of the pretty minor issues, most of the guys, they probably found new friends that they didn't know before, or maybe they're competing against each other on the football field, much like last Friday. So it's fun to see that they can come together as a group and compete together.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we as a coaching staff are, well, how is this going to go? Again, once you get in the room and you know, high school kids are being high school kids, you know, by the end they were wrestling as if they'd been a part of the same practice room for years, and it was really a lot of fun to see. It was fun to see a really competitive room, lots of bodies, lots of practice partners, so lots of positives. And there were bumps in the road. There's always going to be. We tried to iron out as many of those as possible, but overall a lot more good than bad from where we sat.
Yep.
Coaching staff wise, Dan and I are still the co-head coaches. Marcus, Darren Allen. Move this out of the way. Marcus, Darren Allen, Tim Kinsella, Tibbetts, Max, Brad Polzine, and Jared Horniman are still part of our varsity staff. Matt Dahl has stepped down. He is getting married and spending time with family, working on his admin degree. So Coach Dahl will not be back this year. Looking at our 9th grade and middle school staff, Coach Culbertson, Coach Peterson, Polzine, and Coach Sherping are going to be working with that 7th, 8th, and 9th grade crew. And we have various alumni who have come in the past. We have 2 volunteer assistant coaches in Gavin Gilman and Brody Schmidt.
All right, contact information is there. I'll give you guys a little bit of time if you want to jot that down, at least the cell phone. Emails you can look up online, but if you have questions, I ask though that you guys keep it professional. If there's something that maybe needs to have a meeting about, that we do it at the appropriate time.
From my end, my cell phone doesn't work in my class very well. So email, if you're trying to get a hold of me from 7:30 to 3:30, email is going to be the best way for me to get or to respond to you. I'll turn my cell phone and bring it up to practice, so 3:30 and beyond, that works for me. Coach Dan, how about you?
I turn mine off when I get home from practice, so it won't be available then. I won't have it available during practice as I put it off to the side, so it's not something I'm going to have with me, and I probably won't respond at that time. During the day, email would be the best way to at least say, hey, I have this going on or that. Best way to respond back to you, especially over the noon hour. I have about an hour block there where I'm actually checking in.
I have 3rd period prep, so from 11 to 12:30 is about the time where I can get back to people as well. As we look at some of our important dates, similar to last year, we're going to have practice gear. We are going to launder that practice gear for the guys. So both at the junior high level and the varsity JV level, you'll have gear to wear. You'll have a laundry loop. You'll finish up practice. You'll loop it together. You'll throw it in. We'll wash it. We'll dry it. And we will put it in either your cubby or someplace for you to pick it up. The deadline for that is middle of November to get that ordered. And we have that link on our website. We'll go through that quick as well. First day of practice for our season is going to be Monday, November 30th. So we're about a month away from practice starting. Our fundraiser that we are doing, we did it a couple years ago at Dassel-Cokato, is selling cups through Adrenaline Fundraising. For the DC football guys, you did a similar kind of contact list. You don't go to somebody's house and try and sell them. It would be more based on a email or a text message. So we're going to run that from December 4 through December 14th, and that's going to help us cover a lot of our additional expenses. And then we got some practice dates over Christmas break as well. As we get closer to that, we'll check with the guys and finalize the times on those practices.
Christmas break practices will be for the 9 through 12 group. So 7th and 8th grade, you guys will be off during that time. All right, responsibilities. Number one, you're a student athlete, so get your grades where they need to be. Obviously, with the Litchfield being in hybrid, online has become a challenge. So being disciplined at home with your studies, getting those things taken care of. Next thing, training your body. Find ways into the weight room. Find ways to go out and lift, run, and wrestle. Try to find just different ways to prepare your body for the winter season. Recruit. If you have someone that's thinking about coming out, talk to them about how, I would say overnight trips this year, but probably not. But recruit how much fun you guys have as a group competing together, and just understanding the physicality of the sport. Pay your fees. The activity fee you pay at your local school. So Litchfield, you'll pay at your school, and DC will pay at their school. So order and practice gear, the link, is that on there, Coach Clem?
I do have it on the website, yes.
Okay, so that's on the website. I guess to go to the next page then. Yep, there it is right there. So many of you have this set from last year. The seventh graders will not yet. Soon you guys will. So one set is $25. We pay for the other part of the bill. So we split the cost with you. So you're going to get the practice gear with your name on the back of the t-shirts, and then your name on the lower part of the shorts. That way there's no question about whose stuff is who when we start doing laundry. It's a great system to work out.
And like I said, we as a coaching staff will launder that for you. So all you have to do is just remember to put it through your laundry loop and turn it in at the end of practice, and we'll get it washed, cleaned up, and ready for you for the next day.
And even socks too. So socks go on the loop. If you're wearing compression shorts, that goes on the loop. Masks, if we have masks in the room, that can go on the loop as well. So again, every time you guys come in, the days of old of smelling a shirt and saying, that seems good enough to me, and heading into practice, those days are over. We expect that you guys wear this daily too. So we're not wearing other gear, whether it be DC, whether it be Litchfield. We expect to look as a family right now.
Looking at the fundraiser, the cup fundraiser we're doing, here's a picture. We have, many of us obviously are in the DCL part, but we also have some, whether it be teachers, whether it be other family that would maybe want a Litchfield cup or a Dassel-Cokato standalone cup. So we'll have 3 options to sell. Athletes will have a chat about this on December 4th. That'll be our kickoff, and it'll run for about 10 days. It'll finish up, I believe it's a Monday, December 14th. And we should get those about mid-January. So it's the same group that we worked with 2 years ago for the Dassel-Cokato guys. Really, really a slick plan. They will ship the cups to us. We'll get them to you, and then you'll get them to whoever it is that purchased them. It'll be an online fundraiser thing where we'll set it up on your phone. Whether you got an Android or an Apple, you can send a text saying, hey, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever. You go around to another teacher in the building, or they're interested, you can easily get it done there. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And it's a really good fundraiser that'll help us cover a lot of our costs, whether that's coaching staff, additional salaries for them, additional equipment. For us this year, some additional kind of cleaning or needs that we have. All of that comes into play. So we're going to encourage you to help us out with that as well. Looking at our team gear, a year ago, we focused on mostly white and gray. So this was our logo over here on the right-hand side. And knowing that we were going to open up and do, green stuff, navy stuff, and white and gray stuff, here are some looks to our DCL wrestling logo, our green background gear. Again, we're changing the L to white to make it contrast. Blue background gear, changing the DC to white. And if you got a white or a gray gear, kind of keeping the navy on the DC and the Kelly green on the Litchfield. So looks to that. The goal is to have that team gear store up and running by the end of this week. As we look at this, some people have been following a ton, some people maybe not as much. We're able to start November 30th. Our regular season runs until February 13th, and I believe we have 3 weeks set aside by the high school league for a postseason. As of today, we don't know what that postseason will be. We don't know if it'll be a team-only section, a team and individual, a team individual and a state, a team and team-only state, an individual and individual-only state. We don't have that answer. We haven't gotten that guidance from the high school league. They do have a regularly scheduled meeting on December 3rd. I would like to think we would get more information, but I don't know if we're going to get everything. They usually have another meeting in January, which again, that's the end of the season. Going for a majority of our season, we can get 2 competitions in per week, duals or tries. We've worked hard to rebuild our schedule because about, what would you say, half of it was duals and about half of it was individual tournaments.
Yep.
Well, those individual tournaments can't happen. If the event was a quad, that can't happen. Guidance from Department of Health, High School League, whoever, is you can do a dual with 1 other team. You can do a try with 2 other teams. That's the limit that we have been set in. Those are our boundaries. So that's what we've been working on. So from a junior high schedule, the conference is going to go with, anytime we're wrestling a Wright County Conference opponent, the junior high is going to travel with those days and compete against those teams. So for us, we're doing that on almost every conference event, and almost all of ours are triangulars. So the goal is to get junior high kids 2 to 3 matches on that 1 day of competition per week. That's the guarantee. Coach Dan and I are out there trying to get other junior high only events, but they're not going to be like the Litch Invite or the junior high invite or the, we're not really sure where the 9th grade league is going for this year. The goal is to get back to whatever things were prior to this, but we're going to control the things we can control and worry about the things we have control over now.
So some of this has been covered already, but we can have 16 events prior to our postseason. With it being a limit of tries, there's only 32 matches possible. This includes all athletes, varsity down to junior high. Practice. We have a lot of answers here, but right now, here's our plan is 10 through 12. You guys will start at DC. 7th and 8th, you guys will start at Litchfield. And depending on numbers, 9th grade, we don't have you guys scheduled to go anywhere yet. So what we would suggest right now to help us out is to get signed up right away. And that way we can start determining some of these things so 9th graders can get an answer. So the sooner the better there. And then looking at our calendar on January 8th, we will be switching locations, practice locations, where 7th and 8th will travel to DC and 10 through 12 will come to Litchfield. I do not remember, Clem, do you remember what the last week of the season is for the 7th and 8th grade?
I want to say it's that middle of February. I think February 11 was the last event that they were competing in. Yeah. If I remember correctly, that's a Thursday. So then Friday the 12th would be their last. Our goal, if possible, would be to get 9 through 12 all in one room or then 7th and 8th in a different room. But depending on what the numbers are, we have limits to how many people we can have in rooms. Our goal as a coaching staff would be able to run one practice, not have to run multiple sets of practices. I know some other coaches that we're going to run a 3 to 4:30 practice, send them out, clean the room, and then run a 5 to 6:30 practice. We'd prefer not to do that. We'd prefer to have all of our athletes, because several of you have siblings in younger or older grades. We'd like to get it kind of done in all one shot. And that's why 9th grade, we're looking at where is the best fit to make that happen. So that we're not out till 6, 7 o'clock at night trying to finish up a practice. I don't think that's great for anybody.
So what does practice look like? We're going to try to hold to this as best we can, but we leave at 3:10 every day. It doesn't matter your location. That's our goal, is to leave by 3:10. That puts us a practice start time of 3:45. Practice ends 5:25. Sometimes it ends a little bit earlier than that. I think initially we ended it earlier just because of some of the housekeeping things we do. But our goal is to be home by 6 o'clock. I think last year we ran into a situation with swimming where we had to stay later on one night and send home early on another night. So we'll see what the buses bring, but this is our guidelines for our year. And then the next group, there's going to be a bus that will pick up the 7th and 8th grade, drop them off at their location, and then pick the 10th through 12th grade group up and bring them home. So these guys will be about 25 minutes ahead of the 10th through 12th grade group. So,
and that was one of the things that, like I said, it didn't work as well as we had thought it would or planned it would. So we made that adjustment, and we have a separate bus that is bringing our athletes home. They'll pick up the junior high wherever they're at, whether they're at Litchfield in the first half of the year or they're at DC at the second half of the year. They will get that ball rolling, getting them back to school so we get back at a decent hour, and then in turn picking up those high school athletes who need a ride on a bus back to their school. Wednesday practices, the junior high athletes are going to practice at their own school with it being a church day. With the guidance of getting practice done by 4:45, it doesn't make a ton of sense to throw them on a bus, get them here by 3:45, then turn around, practice for 30 minutes, and turn around, throw them back on a bus to get them back. So junior high kids, we did this last year. We'll do it again this year. You will practice at your home school, 7th and 8th grade guys, on Wednesdays. Morning practice, again, right now, today, the plan is running morning practice from 6:30 to 7:30 on Tuesdays. Coach Allen is going to run it on the DC side. I believe, Coach Dan, you're running it on the Litch side.
Yep.
Again, Varsity JV, you're getting your morning workout at your home school. You're not having to commute to the other school to get a morning workout in and then turn around and drive back. If we run into, I mean, again, that's the plan as of today. If something has to change, we'll look at that and we will update you as soon as we know, but this is the plan as we have it right now. A lot of what we have stored is on our wrestling website, and at the very end, I'll pull that up and kind of show you where you can look at schedule and all of that. I think I put the link in the chat for our meeting. We also have a Facebook page, a Dassel-Cokato Litchfield Wrestling Facebook page. It's a great place to get information out. Hey, we went to this event. Here are our results, both from a junior high perspective, a 9th grade, a varsity JV perspective. At least from my point of view, I don't get to look at it a lot at school when I'm here. So if there's a question, send us the email. The email is the best way to get in contact. And it's not that people can't, hey, where's the meet supposed to be at today? Oh, it's at Champlain Park High School or whatever it happens to be. I mean, you can throw it out there, but if you're looking for a response from either Dan or I, the email is the route to go, because we won't look at the Facebook page in time to get you that answer.
Doctor's visits, eligibility, leaving school. Appointments must be approved through the office to be eligible for practice that day. So let's say I'm going to go see Dr. Kinsella for adjustment. I need to clear that prior to leaving the school. Get into town pass at Litchfield so you guys can have your eligibility for practice and or competition. So if a doctor holds you out of practice, you need a note from them. I just had an incident right now where we had an 8th grader had a fracture last Friday. He didn't say anything to us, and all of a sudden I got an injury report today and said, hey, fill this out. One of your football players had a fracture last week. Well, he didn't say anything to anybody. He got hit in the hand. It smarted quite a bit, but turns out it was fractured. So let us know. Even if maybe it's a minor thing, just say, hey, this is hurting. Doesn't have to be much. If it's very serious, say, hey, this really hurts. Let us know. We can refer you on, or just say, hey, I'm going to go to the doctor tonight and get this checked out. Coach Clem and I have been a part of athletics long enough where we're not experts at being doctors, but at least I feel like we can steer you in the right direction of saying, well, this is probably serious, or this is something that you probably just need to ice and some ibuprofen on.
If we look at something and we say, hey, fill in the blank, you need to go have that checked out, and you guys as a parent say, no, I think they're okay, I mean, that's fine. That's your job as the parent, but then we would need some written, Bobby is fine to return back to practice. If the doctor, you go to the doctor, the parent sends you to the doctor, the coach sends you to the doctor, and the doctor says, all right, you need to sit out for next whatever period of time, you need to go back to that doctor to get back in, right? Take a week, take 3 days off and then go back in. That doesn't work, right? If you're going to a doctor and they're going to hold you out for whatever reason, you got to go back to them for them to clear you to come back in. And it's not like we're trying to punish you, but that's the process we have to go by. If you're held out, you have to then get a note to say, hey, I'm clean, I'm healthy, I'm good to go.
And especially if it's concussion related, you got to go through the concussion protocol. So going through there, we as coaches can't say, you seem fine, you can practice today, and you seem clear of a concussion. So that's something that you got to take care of through the medical professionals. As far as any skin issues, again, we can steer you in the right direction, but we cannot clear you from skin issues. So if you have anything, you need to show us as soon as possible that comes up. We're going to do a better job of doing skin checks and being aware of things that are going on in terms of any skin issues. We can't write a note that says Johnny's clear of for wrestling tonight. It's just ringworm or whatever it may be. That has to come by a medical doctor in order for you to compete, either in the wrestling room or in an event. COVID protocols. There's a ton of stuff that we have a laundry list of things. We just decided to try to summarize it as best we could. Just like we tell our students at school, self-check at home. Your sticks, stay home. But let us know right away. You can text message me. You can email me, email Coach Clem. Any of that works. Just let us know as soon as you know. I think that's a critical life skill for you to grow up and say, hey, if I'm going to be gone a day, let your employer know that you're going to be gone right away, not waiting around until the day after saying, hey, I had this or that. Other thing with COVID, you will need a water bottle for practice. So Coach Clem, you want to hold up your Gatorade bottle? Okay, that would work great. Put your name on it. We're not looking at sharing. So if you're at DC, we'll put it in the cubbies. Litchfield, we can put it in the breezeway coming in. I'll put it on the bench there. Third bullet, wearing masks unless we're practicing. Our goal during practice is to keep you guys going. So there's probably not going to be much for downtime to wear a mask in practice. But it's those transporting times from practice room to the locker room are the critical points there. And especially if we want to keep wrestling this winter, it's best that we follow protocols, regardless of how you feel about masks or any of the other protocols we're asked to follow. We just ask that we just comply so we can stay open and we can stay wrestling right now. Clem already talked about this already, but we're going to wash your gear daily.
Coaching staff's going to wash the mats before and or after practice. Both schools have purchased a UVC light. Sterile Laser is the brand name that we're using. We will plug that into the wrestling rooms at the end of practice, and that UVC light helps eliminate whatever else is in the room. I'm sure it's something that's been around for a while, but I guess honestly I hadn't heard a lot about it until we were at the Orono Invite last year. And, there was a different company selling those or promoting those, or they'd come in and clean your room. And cost of cleaning your room 3 times a year, you could almost buy one of these. So we are going to run this and do everything we can, whether it's to help with any potential COVID issues, whether it's potential skin issues. If there's something we can do to help make sure we're clean, we'll do our end and wash the mask, wash your clothes, clean the room. From an athlete standpoint, you got to hold up your end of the bargain as well, which is clean yourself daily. When you notice something, say something so that we can deal with it. Don't go, it's on the, lower part of my back that's covered by a shirt, well, I don't need to worry about that because that just doesn't help our cause. For those who participated in fall sports, you've probably seen and or submitted your COVID-19 protocol form. You also have to sign up and complete your Minnesota State High School League forms. I believe at DC they're online now. I don't think you have to actually fill out paper copy. I think the COVID protocol is both, but you can fill out the paper. But you got to get those things squared away before you're able to get into practice, right? We can't have you show up 3:45 day one of practice and go, oh, I didn't know about any of those, and I'm not really sure where to go or how to get that done. So like Coach Dan had brought up earlier, please get yourself signed up with your respective school. Please get those forms filled out and taken care of so that come November 30th, we're ready to get a productive practice done and not having to have a bunch of guys sit out of the room because they're not ready to actually practice. It could be the same thing with a physical. If your physical is coming due or you haven't participated in a fall sport and you need a concussion test, these are all great questions that you as the athlete should check with your athletic department about. It's not that we won't help you. We will if we know about it, but I mean, that's your thing that you got to square away before you are able to get into the room.
All right, injuries. We are requiring you guys, if you're injured or have skin, we're still requiring you to attend a practice. We'll have some type of workout for you. So if it's a lower body injury where you cannot use your lower body, we'll focus on the upper body. We'll focus on the rehab that your doctor is requiring you to do. If it's skin, it's probably going to be cardio and lifting. So we are requiring that you come and that you fulfill your recovery process there. So just expect to practice even if you're injured.
From a school standpoint, and again, control the things you can control, but you're expected to be in class. If kind of if you're too sick to be in school, then you're probably too sick to practice or compete. And if you are, I'm just feeling horrible, coach, whatever it is. You know, if it's the COVID thing or you just got the flu, and again, that's going to be tough to kind of distinguish between the two, or whatever it is, whatever you got going on, from like a job training skill standpoint, athletes, that your job to get a hold of a coach and tell them, don't tell your buddy to tell a buddy to tell the coach. Because they probably forget and they don't tell us till we're already 5 minutes into practice going, hey, where is so-and-so? Oh, yeah, he told me to tell you that he was going home on the bus because he was sick, or whatever that happens to be, right? Please take that upon yourself to let us know where you're at. This one here we'll talk about, but we're gonna put a huge big old asterisk next to it because this is as of 11/2, and this could change. I would be shocked if it doesn't change. Right now, what we understand is if you're riding the bus to events that are less than 30 minutes of travel time, and we hope it doesn't ever happen, but somebody gets sick, you know, COVID-wise, those within the 6-foot radius, those would be the people who would have to then be close contact and quarantine and deal with that. If the bus trip is longer than 30 minutes, then the whole bus would be quarantined. So for those of you who have been participating in either cross-country football, you probably had a parent driving you to the competitions so that you're not in that situation of, oh, the whole bus is out, that means I'm out, even though I was sitting in the back of the bus and whoever was sick was in the front of the bus. As we get more guidance on that, we will let you know. It may turn out where, you know, we may end up driving to everything this year, you know, from a parent bringing you standpoint. Again, we're still a month away. Things on this are changing kind of daily, which is really kind of frustrating for me. But again, I got to control the things I can control, and this isn't one of those things I can control. So when I get different or new guidance, we will update you guys. With that in mind, we've also tried to keep the events to something within an hour. We're not going to be traveling, 3-4 hours at a crack to get to an event, just to be respectful of everybody's time. So we're balancing the need for competition, the need to get ourselves pushed, the need to find teams that we think will have full squads so that we get as many of our athletes mat time as possible, and yet still being respectful of, well, it's a Thursday night duel. We're not going to drive 3 hours to Detroit Lakes to get a match in, kind of a thing. Although that'd be a very good match.
All right, weight certification is something that we need to do every year. If you want to be on the postseason team, if you don't do it, then you forfeit that opportunity. And it has happened before. But all varsity JV wrestlers must be certified. Again, junior high, you can be certified, or you will be certified, but it's not needed unless you compete. So when in doubt, I just go through the process of understanding what certification is. And then if I could sum it up, you get pinched to see your body fat, and then they put in a bunch of numbers into a formula, and it spits out the lowest possible weight class you could go. When it comes to circling your lowest possible weight class, parents have a choice on agreeing with the doctor or circling something higher. We recommend that you circle what the doctor says, but at the end of the day, the athlete will not go down unless you don't feel comfortable doing it. So I personally had a situation about 4 years ago where a mom circled something higher, and then the athlete was able to, after Christmas, was, oh gosh, I'm only 5 pounds away from that weight class. And he wasn't able to because mom circled the weight class higher. So more light will be shed on this as we get closer, but I believe, Clem, that was on December 4th.
December 4th, yep.
Was the date that we'll send these home. Most of you are familiar with this. Some of you may not be. So if you have further questions on it on December 4th, contact one of us. Hopefully we'll do a good job explaining it. We do not have the sheet on this slideshow, but stay tuned, more to come.
And we just got 3 to go, and then we'll call it good.
Wrestle-offs. So pretty important slide here. Since there are no individual tournaments, we just crossed that out right now since we can't determine our lineup for individual tournaments. When we do wrestle-offs, there's a 5-pound weight allowance for a 6-minute match. There's 2 or more competitors. We'll bracket it up as best we can that we feel is the fairest. It's the best of 1 6-minute match, so it's not the best 2 out of 3. It's just a 1 6-minute match. The logic behind that is because we don't want to spend our entire time running wrestle-offs in practice. But I think this is the next bullet is the critical one. Varsity-ready athletes will see varsity mat time. So this is something where we'll have to move. Maybe it is a guy that is a, if you want to say, starter in his mind. He might not wrestle every match there because we need to develop other athletes at the varsity level. Our goal is to rotate guys in as much as we can to build confidence and depth in our team. If we only wrestle the 14 guys that we feel are starters, then we won't develop those backups. We won't develop a competitive room. And I believe the biggest reason why we're together right now is to get kids to wrestle at their ability levels. So if I'm a junior high kid, I need to stay at the junior high level if that's where my ability level is. If I'm ready to wrestle the next level up, if I'm ready to compete at the JV level, then that's where you're going to go from there. If you have a JV wrestler that's teetering with varsity, yep, we can move him in and slide him in when he's ready. But again, it always goes back to when you're ready. And a lot of that is dictated by off-season training. Maybe it's your age. Maybe it's your mat experience. How much time you putting on the mat in the off-season. All those things determine that as well. Not to mention the lineups also are determined by, are you in practice every day or are you missing practice? Are you getting it done in the classroom? Are you not getting it done in the classroom? Are there off the mat issues? So all those things help determine the lineup. But again, at the end of the day, our goal is truly to develop as many guys as we can, and not just say, hey, these 14 guys, this is all we care about right now. And that's all that's all we care about. And that's all we're going to focus on. So us as coaches try to be selfless. We expect our athletes to work hard too, to be selfless as well, and do what's best for the team, and really think about that as a whole, about what it takes to succeed. Maybe that is me not wrestling for a night, and that's hard to do as a teenager, and maybe that's hard to see, maybe as a parent too. I haven't experienced that yet, but if we go back to our goal, we want to get guys on the mat.
And it was a lot easier to do when we had the individual tournaments to do that. You can put multiple guys in. One of the rule changes this year is you can have an athlete wrestle in the JV side and the varsity side, but if we have solid numbers, that may not happen as often. But we needed it last year, right? We had some things pop up at the end of our year last year with either injury, illness, or skin, and we needed guys who were ready to go compete for us, and they had mat time on the varsity prior to that. It wasn't, I've wrestled on the JV all year long, and now this is my first chance at it. The postseason one, again, it's still up in the air whether we have an individual postseason, how much of a postseason we have, whether it be a dual side of things, an individual side of things, a state tournament side of things. Coach, if you want to clean up the postseason, I'll talk about lettering, and then we'll go from there.
For as far as postseason wise, just like we did for the regular season, it's just 1 6-minute match. If you are the starter there, you have to challenge someone. You get one challenge. So let's say you get beat out at a spot, then you can use your one challenge for a different spot. So if I'm the starter at, let's say, 113, Clem challenges me, cuts down, challenges me, he beats me out, I have an opportunity to then challenge someone else. But if I beat Coach Clem, he doesn't have another challenge. So that's the goal of the postseason. And again, it's hard because last year we had so many wrestle-offs, which helped determine the individual starting lineup. This year we'll have to make sure that we kind of know who the guys are in terms of where they're at.
From a lettering standpoint, Coach Dan, we're going to look at this. We kind of combined the lettering policy from both what Litchfield and Dassel-Cokato had done, and we set it at 24. I just thought of this earlier today. You know, that was on a 45 mat schedule, and we don't always get to 45 matches, but right now our varsity lettering points is at 24 points. Coach Dan are going to talk about that, and we will update that if it changes, if we feel that with our limit of 32 potential matches this year warrants that number changing for the 2020-2021 season. But from that end, that is a lot. It went a little longer than we were hoping, but I think, like I said, we're not going to be able to get every bit out to you, but we wanted to get as much as we could. Will there be a link to the slideshow? Yes, there will. I'm actually going to show you here. Now I'll turn the show on, and then we will conclude. Here we go. Hit the share button. All right, there we go. Share. We will send this link out. This is our Dassel-Cokato Litchfield Wrestling website, and as you scroll through, here is where we have a lot of information. Almost all the information, if it isn't out there right now from tonight's presentation, will be out there. Here is the spot that someone exactly asked about, our eligibility meeting. Here are the PowerPoints, your preseason checklist, some stuff from both Min USA Wrestling and the high school league as it pertains to COVID. Here is our online store. kind of our color backgrounds. Here are some of the sample products that they have out. This is for preview only, so it obviously isn't live. Our goal is to get this live by the end of the week. Another slide for our fundraiser. And again, pictures of our cups. Here is our practice gear. This link is live to go order your practice gear.
Oh, we did have a typo on the PowerPoint. On the PowerPoint, it said November 13th. It's actually November 11th. So if you could do that tonight, go ahead and get that squared away. Do you have to, if you have practice gear, that's fine. You don't have to go back and reorder it if you don't want to, but go ahead, feel free. We cover half of it and then you can pay the other half.
Yep. So your cost as an athlete would be $25. Here's our varsity and JV schedule. Here is where our middle school schedule is. Over the course of the year, Coach Dan are going to be putting out some videos for nutrition. Practice schedule, here's a big one, kind of where are we, when are we? And again, this is as of today, November 2nd, right? And that could change. I hope it doesn't change. I hope what we have here is what we're going to do, and it's going to get us all the way through March, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So when things change, we obviously will use the email distribution list that we have. If you hear of some, oh, hey, Billy or Joey wasn't able to log on, they didn't get the email, pass along our coaches' emails. We will get that to them. We'll get the emails updated. Like I said, when we're done with this, we'll end the recording and post this as well in the eligibility meeting. It'll be tomorrow because I don't think the video will crank out here that quickly. So thank you. I know that was a lot in 50 minutes of time. Coach Dan could speak for himself. I am excited about our opportunity to get back in a wrestling room, to get this group back together and compete, practice, get better, and help you as athletes achieve your goals, whatever that is, right? If your goal is to get from a JV guy to a starter, from a starter to a state entrant, from a state entrant to a state champ, right? Our job is to try and help all of you achieve whatever that goal is individually. Maybe your goal is, I just want to be a better football player, and I think wrestling is going to help me be that better football player. We need guys like that on this program as well. So that is our goal. That's really all or why we do what we do. Someone did it for us, and it's our job to give that back to you guys. So Coach Dan, anything as we kind of finish up?
That was well said.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording part of things. And if you have questions, please feel free to get a hold of us. I know we've used up a lot of your time this evening. As more comes, we will let you know. Thank you for attending tonight.